Hey everyone, it's Sarah here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. So today we're going to be building another tiny house in Newcrest, which is one of the base game worlds, and we're on one of the other 20 by 15 lots. You guys can kind of see the mixologist tiny house beside this one, but today we're going to be building another tiny house that is inspired by one of the careers in the game. And as you guys have already seen from the thumbnail and the title, today's tiny house is going to be inspired by the chef career. So I have played with chef career before. I really like the cooking skill in the game, so I do feel like I've had a lot of Sims go through the chef career, but it's been a while, so I went back and looked at the career to see what skills you need, what kind of task you have to do and stuff like that. And there isn't a whole lot of personality within this career. It's basically all cooking. And so for the first 5 levels, I think, when you're still just in the culinary career overall and you haven't specifically chosen to go into the chef's branch, that's the only time that it's even slightly different, and you still don't need this part, but there is an option on your daily task that you can either prepare food or you can make drinks. So I actually had meant to include a bar in this house and I did not remember to do that, so there is no bar. And also when we get to the interior, there was just a lot of stuff that I wanted to include and then I would forget something and have to go back and add it, and there was just no space to add a bar in at all. Like, I can't even imagine where I would put it in if I was going to go back and include one. But you can always pop over to your next door neighbor who is in the mixology career and use their bar if you wanted to. But it doesn't really matter because honestly, if you're going into the chef career, you're probably going to be preparing food and leveling up your cooking skill instead of wasting time making drinks and stuff. So I feel like that's not that big of a deal. But that is basically the only part of this career that isn't just cooking. Because when you do branch off and you choose to go into the chef's career, then the only other skill you need besides cooking, of course, is gourmet cooking. So it's just cooking over and over and over again. So this house has so many options for cooking that it's absolutely crazy. But I do hope you guys enjoy this. This is not a very realistic house. I was definitely not going for realism here. It's very quirky. It's very kind of maybe even cartoonish. I don't know if you would call it that. I really like it. I just realized I haven't actually showed you guys the picture that inspired this build because I did not come up with this. So let me go on and pop that picture up on the screen now where you guys can see what I was looking at and what I was going for. It is such a cute little photo. I can't tell you guys very much about it because I don't think there was any information in the pin. I don't even know if there was a title. I don't think there was a description. But if you guys are interested in looking at it some more, it should be pinned on my Pinterest under the board Sims 4 Build Inspiration, I think is what it's called. But it is such a cute little house. Whoever made this is just beautiful. And as soon as I saw it, I thought, well, that would be the tiny house that I want to build for a chef in the game or for the chef's career. So that's what we're doing today. I didn't really plan to do the chef's career right after the mixologist because I didn't have like an order that I'm going in or anything like that. But it just kind of worked out and I saw that picture and I just wanted to go with it. So that's what we're doing today. But it's definitely not a very realistic house. And if you're wondering about the food that I'm placing right now, because I'm placing some bread and stuff from the debug live edit menu, so far it has not spoiled and started to smell. Now I cannot swear that it will never do that. But what I did while I was playtesting was I got a plate of food out that Johnny Zest had cooked and I left it out until it did spoil. And none of the other food that is actually a part of the house had spoiled at that point. So I'm really hoping that the stuff that I've placed is not food that would spoil and start stinking. Like I said, so far that has not happened, so you shouldn't run into that. But thankfully it would be pretty easy to delete. I mean, if it starts smelling, you're going to see it. But I did play for a full sim day and nothing started smelling other than the food that I had purposely left out. So hopefully that won't be too big of an issue. I did want to do the little chef's hat that was in the inspiration picture. They had a little chef's hat on top of the building, which was so cute. But I don't think we have anything like that in the game, and I couldn't figure out how to make it. I thought about using marshmallows. I was going to use the little marshmallows in the live edit or debug, whichever one Hopefully you guys know when I say that I'm just throwing that out there. I have no clue which menu is what. But I was gonna grab the marshmallow, but it's not actually white. It looks white when it's in the menu. It looks like a regular little uncooked marshmallow. But then if you pull it out of the menu and actually place it in the world, it's cooked and it's like golden and crispy looking. And so it wouldn't have made a very good chef's hat. And I just didn't really feel like trying that hard to make a little chef's hat. I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that would make that. And so I just didn't worry about it. I just ended up placing some of that other little food on top. But the chef's hat would have been a lot cuter, so that's too bad. But we basically have the shell of the house done here now. And so it's pretty much done up and finished. And if you actually wanted to play with this house and you wanted to just delete the little food, the little flour and the bread and stuff that's on that second story, if you wanted to actually use that balcony, then I wouldn't blame you, because this is such a tiny house, and if you need that space, just delete that stuff and add a door. Well, actually, I don't know if you can place a door there because of where I placed the stairs on the interior, but you could always add a ladder maybe on the outside. You could add a ladder up to that balcony if you just needed more space. But yeah, I wouldn't blame you if you needed that space, because technically it's part of the house and it's not usable right now because I just put decorations there. So I wouldn't blame you if you deleted those. But for the exterior of this house, I kind of had to get creative because, like I said, there's not a lot of personality in this career. So what do you add for this sim? Because I've just been basing these houses off of the career and I've just been wanting to represent the career. So like, what else goes along with that? And I decided that gardening, I would just add a little garden because it's a chef. Maybe they want to grow their own food as well. I know that's not necessary for the career, but you know, I mean, I like the gardening skill in the game, honestly. And so if your sim's always cooking and they're in the chef career, maybe they want to save a little bit of money and grow their own food. So I did include this little garden back here, and I just put some random base game fruits and veg and stuff back there. So you guys can change any of that. I just wanted to make sure the planter boxes work. So there probably will be some stuff if you get this off the gallery. There will be some stuff already planted, but just delete it if you want to plant something different. And yeah, so I ended up going with the gardening. And then this little area I was thinking about having just an outdoor hangout because I have to fill the space up somehow. But we got some fire pits with the outdoor retreat pack, and we also got some with the get together pack. But the Island Living pack has these kind of outdoor grills that they always look like fire pits to me, but that's not what they are. They're actually, I think, under the grill category. And so I was at a little bit of a toss-up of what I wanted to put back there because I wanted it to be associated with cooking. And so I thought that all the fire pits had the option to roast marshmallows and stuff like that. But apparently the ones from Get Together do not have that option, and they're just like a hangout spot. So what you guys see for most of this video is me using the one from the Get Together pack, but I do end up changing that to the one from Outdoor Retreat. And I changed that so that your Sims would still be able to roast marshmallows and stuff like that because it's a chef's house. And so I figured they would want to do that. And you can change that back if you want to. That little area, you can change it to whatever you want to. The little black object that you see at the bottom is just for decoration, and it's placed in the basement so it won't stop functionality for whatever you place there. They'll be able to walk over it and get to the object that you place there. Whether it's one of the grills from Island Living or if you wanted to swap back to the Get Together fire pits, whichever one you like and whatever you want to use. Or you can just delete it if you have something else you want to put there. It really doesn't matter. Maybe you would want a bigger garden or something like that, but I just wanted to include as many cooking options as I could. So we also have an outdoor grill and a couple of picnic tables as well. And then there's also another outdoor grill that's up on the balcony of the second floor. I just didn't really have a lot of ideals for the exterior of this house because so much of the career is just cooking. So anyway, I did kind of feel like the sim who I was building this for was kind of a quirky person though, and had a lot of personality and just kind of did what they wanted to do and enjoyed nature and stuff. So you can see a little bit of that coming through. But now we're on to the interior of the house, and we do have a pretty good sized bathroom. I was proud of the bathroom for a tiny house. I feel like it's a pretty decent size. But when we got into the interior of the house, I had made the floor plan out and then I took a break and I forgot that there was a bunch of stuff that I needed to add. And so then when I actually started building on the interior, I forgot so many things and I had to go back and fix it later. And the kitchen area is going to go right here. And I know what you guys are probably thinking, for a professional chef, this kitchen is kind of small, but I had to make it work within the house. And I still tried to include as many options as I could for a sim who's going to be cooking all the time. So I'm going to include double stoves or ovens, which is not necessary at all in the game, but I am going to include 2 of those because I felt like a professional chef would have 2 ovens. And also, I will mention with the cabinets, I did not use the cabinets that you get as a career reward for the chef career or the culinary career, because I don't like those cabinets. To me, they're very much more of a commercial kitchen cabinet, or there's something you would see in a restaurant. And I just don't really like them for regular houses. I hardly ever use them, and that's just my personal opinion. And so I didn't want to include them, even though they're a career reward. I just really didn't want to include them with this house. And so I didn't. I just used a base game cabinet instead, which I felt like looked better with the house. So I did not include that. But I feel like I tried to include all the other rewards. It's just the cabinets that I don't like. But I did use the fridge. I'm not actually sure if the stove is one of the career rewards, but I feel like it is, because I swapped it out from the other stove, so I think it is a career reward. But I feel like I used everything but the cabinets. But anyway, the kitchen is kind of narrow and small, and I had forgotten that I wanted to include the cupcake factory. When I started building this, I thought this is the house that I need to use the cupcake factory, because I never use it. We all know it's so big, it's just way too big to use normally, and it doesn't fit into builds normally. And I thought, well, this would be a great place to use it though, because I never use it. Then I forgot about it as I was actually building the interior. I totally forgot about it. And I went back and included it where you guys can see that little chair and lamp are. I went back and put it there. I had to size it down. But thankfully it is one of those objects that will still work even after you size it down. So it does work, it's totally functional, and everything around it was still functional. And then I ended up putting that little tiny living painting that is of a coffee cup. And I realized after I had built this and I was already trying to go to sleep, and I realized that there's actually a cupcake swatch of that painting and I needed to swap it back. But I probably am not going to swap it back before I upload it because I've already got it saved. But if you guys want to, you could swap it to the cupcake swatch, because that would make so much more sense, and I don't know why I didn't do that, but I didn't. Also, another thing that I forgot in the interior was a dining table, and I do not know how I overlooked that, because a chef's house has to have a dining table. It only makes sense. And I completely forgot about that and did not include it. So in a little while, you guys will see me go back downstairs when I realize it, and I go back and add in a dining table, and it is very small and very cramped, and it looks like it would not be functional, but it is functional. It does work. I did play test it. I actually didn't have a lot of trouble with this house with stuff not working. Everything did pretty good. I was kind of surprised. But I did include the little dining table, and I did have a TV downstairs as well, even though there's one upstairs here, so you could delete that TV if you wanted to just make that area a bigger dining area. But I was thinking about it, and I thought your Sims can raise their cooking skill watching the TV, and so I felt like maybe this house would need a little TV, so I did include that. But you could definitely get rid of it if you wanted to expand the dining area, and I would not blame you because it would make more sense. But that was kind of an afterthought for me, and so it definitely shows. But the second floor is the bedroom, and I was able to get a double bed in here, thankfully, instead of just a single bed, so you could have 2 Sims living here if you wanted to. But that is pretty much it for this house. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below in the comments if you feel like it, because I always love hearing from you guys. And just thank you for hanging out with me today during the speed build. I hope you all are doing really well, and hopefully I will talk to you guys soon with another one.